Hello guys, today we are testing an electric bike that at the first glance may not seem like the most modern e-bike on the market, but its greatest advantage lays in its simplicity. This is the EVERCROSS EK8, somewhat a retro-looking city electric bike with a 250 watt motor, a large 36 volt battery, 26-inch wheels, electric assistance up to 25 km per hour, a range of up to 90 km, dual disc brakes, LCD screen and app support, and all this at a really low price. But specifications are one thing and actual riding is something completely different, so today we are testing this bike in detail and answer the most important question: is this e-bike actually worth your attention? So be sure to watch this EVERCROSS EK8 video review. The bike arrived in a very large and robust cardboard box, which is quite expected for electric bike of this size. And after opening it, you can see that the EVERCROSS protects this bike quite well during transport. In the package, in addition to the bike itself, we get the battery charger, detailed user instructions, basic equipment needed for assembly, pedal, a numerical bike lock, a multifunctional only one tool, and of course tire pump. The bike comes partially assembled. You need to install a few basic parts: a wheel, a mudguard, adjust the handlebars, a seat, pedals, and check everything before the first ride. It's time to take a closer look at it from the outside as it looks on the street. The EVERCROSS EK8 has a very classic, slightly retro and fairly unobtrusive look, and in combination with the black color it gives a rather elegant look that can fit into both the urban environment and a somehow more relaxed ride outside the city. The first thing you notice is the frame with the relatively low top tube, a design that makes it much easier to go on and off the bike. Due to its geometry, the EK8 seems quite accessible to the different user profiles, and accordingly to the official data, the bike is intended for the users with a height of approximately 160 to 195 centimeters, which is quite a wide range. When you sit on it, the position is more upright than sporty, which is exactly what we want to see in a city e-bike like this. You won't be leaning forward like on a road or sport bike, but you sit quite relaxed, which is more comfortable for everyday riding and longer distances. The EK8 weighs about 23 kilograms, so its weight is definitely something to keep in mind, but on the other hand, this very weight also comes with a certain amount of robustness, a large battery, and the construction that is made more like a practical everyday e-bike than an ultralight sports bike. The EK8 uses large 26-inch wheels, and it's the size of the wheels that contributes to a lot of the feeling of stability while riding. On asphalt, the bike feels calm and predictable, and the larger wheels more easily go over smaller holes, edges and bumps in the road. The tires are also designed with the emphasis of practicality and puncture resistance, which is especially useful if you use the bike every day and don't want to think about every small bump or piece of gravel in the road. There is no classic front suspension fork here, so at the first glance you might expect a somehow a harder ride, but EVERCROSS has tried to compensate for this with a combination of large tires and a very comfortable seat. And the seat is one of the details that is felt a lot while riding. The seat is wide, soft and made more durable, suitable for relaxed city riding than for sport cycling. Additional comfort is provided by the built-in spring or suspension in the seat area, which helps to soften some of the shocks when we go over uneven asphalt or other irregularities. And when you combine that seat with the large 26-inch tires, the result is a very pleasant ride, even without classic front suspension. Its philosophy is much simpler: comfortable, practical and relatively carefree riding around the city on asphalt, bike paths and occasionally on the slightly worse terrain. The front of the bike is also quite simple. The handlebars aren't cluttered with the various controls and switches, which we actually like about a bike like this. On it we have the brake levers, electric assist controls and a small LCD screen that displays the most important information while riding. The screen is simple enough that you don't have to study 10 different menus while riding. On it we can see the current speed, battery status, selected assist level, mileage and a few other basic pieces of information. This is exactly what we expect from a bike like this, to have the most important information available to us at a glance without unnecessary complications. The EK8 also supports connection to the EVERCROSS app. This gives the bike additional level of smart functions and the ability to control certain settings via your phone. And now we come to the heart of this bike. The EVERCROSS EK8 is powered by the electric motor with a declared power of 250 watts. And the maximum assisted speed is 25 km per hour. This may not sound impressive to someone who is used to more powerful electric bicycles, but it should be borne in mind that this is bike primarily designed as a practical means of transportation for everyday riding, and it is EU legal. The motor provides relatively smooth and controlled pedaling assistance, so you don't get the feeling that the bike is suddenly pulling you forward, but the electric assistance gradually helps you turn the pedals. This is especially pleasant in the city, where we often start from the traffic lights, slow down, accelerate again and drive through the traffic. The manufacturer also states the EK8 can overcome slopes of about 25 degrees, but of course the actual performance depends on the rider's weight, battery condition, surface and how the assistance is used. One of the main functions of this bike is electric pedal assist system. We have 3 levels of assistance, namely 15, 20 and 25 km per hour. That means that we can decide for ourselves how much assistance we want from the motor. If we want light assistance and more autonomy, we can use a lower level, while at a higher level we get more assistance and it will be raised to maintain a higher speed. We especially like that the EK8 uses a non-zero start function. That means that the motor will not simply start just because we accidentally press the control, but is necessary to first start the bike and reach approximately 6 km per hour before activating the motor. This is a very useful safety feature, especially for beginners, as it reduces the possibility of accidentally starting the bike suddenly. And now, one of the most important things in this electric bike, the battery. The bike comes with a 36-volt lithium-ion battery with a capacity of 15.6 amp-hour, which means about 561 watt-hour of energy. The battery is removable, which is a great practical advantage. You don't have to bring the entire bike into your apartment, house or office to charge it. You can simply remove the battery and take it in the place where you have access to the socket. According to the manufacturer, a full charge takes about 5 hours and the declared range from approximately 55 to 90 kilometers. Of course, as always with electric bikes, these figures should be taken as approximate. The actual range will depend on the rider's weight, surface speeds and above all how often we use the maximum level of electronic assistance. If you constantly ride at the highest level of assistance and the maximum speed, the battery will of course discharge much faster than when you are at the lower of assistance and pedal more yourself. But with a capacity of 15.6 amp-hour, this is definitely not a small battery, and for everyday city transportation it should offer a very decent autonomy. Now a few words about safety. There are these brakes on the front and the rear. During normal city riding, the brakes provide enough control and stopping power, and it is especially important to have brakes on both wheels when riding electric bike like that, together with the rider has a considerable mass. Of course, you should always keep in mind that these are mechanical, not hydraulic disc brakes, so you shouldn't expect the feel of modulation of more expensive hydraulic systems, but for the class of the EK8 belongs to, this is a perfectly reasonable solution. Another very useful thing for everyday riding is the built-in lighting. At the front we have a LED light, while at the back we have tail lights and brake lights. Another good thing is that the lights are integrated into the bike system and are powered with the main battery. That means you don't have to separately change the batteries for the front and rear lights. When riding at night or in conditions of poor visibility, this is not only a matter of convenience but also safety, because you want all the road users to be able to notice you as early as possible. After everything we've been through, we would say that the biggest advantage of this bike is simplicity with a retro look and a really affordable price. You get a 250 watt motor, maximum assistance of up to 25 km per hour, a large removable battery, declared range of up to 90 km, 26-inch wheels, front and rear disc brakes, adjustable handlebars and a seat, and very comfortable riding position. In other words, everything you need for everyday electric bike is here. If you're looking for a lightweight sports e-bike for serious trails, this probably isn't the right choice. But if you want a practical electric bike that you can use for work, city shopping, recreation and everyday rides, the EK8 definitely deserves to be on your list. So if you're interested in this EVERCROSS EK8, you'll find a link to the bike in the description of this video, where you can check the current price, availability and additional information. If you found this review useful, be sure to leave like, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next test. Thank you for watching, take care and see you in the next review. Bye.